Please be seated.
Jesus died so we might live. Amen. This text will serve as the basis of our message.
As our Old Testament lesson from Ezekiel chapter 37, verses 1 through 14. Dear friends in Christ, let's talk breathing. When we inhale, our diaphragms contract and move downward so the space in our chest cavity increases. The lungs expand, air is pulled in, and with the assistance of hemoglobin, oxygen goes to the blood. In the same breath, carbon dioxide moves into the lungs and is then forced out when we exhale. God has created quite an elaborate system. How many times on average do we do this a day? How about 25,000 times? It probably goes without saying in these pandemic times, but it's always good to check in with our breathing now and then. Today in our Old Testament lesson, God is showing the prophet Ezekiel how dramatic this breathing can be. It brings the whole house of Israel together. Ezekiel saw those who were dead breathing again. Not just physically, but spiritually as well. A good picture of what Jesus does for us. Breathe in resurrected life. Our breathing is broken. It has been since sin joined the world. People today suffer in various forms: COPD, asthma, emphysema, black lung disease, and other forms that restrict good breathing. And apart from that, we all inhale things that can cause us pain and heartache. Drugs. We are gluttons with our food intake. We don't get moving around the way we need to. All of this physically hurts us. We can also inhale things that hurt us spiritually. Greed for the latest gadget, a new partner, reading things outside of Scripture, following the latest fad, despair, and apathy.
We are dry to the core.
Israel was dry to the core. They had been breathing all the wrong things, and this resulted in their destruction and captivity in Babylon. And God gives Ezekiel a word picture of very dry bones. Like God's law does for us, Ezekiel needed to take a good look at what was happening. They were breathing in death. Verse 11. Our bones are dried up and our hope is lost. We are indeed cut off. On our own, we are lifeless in the valley of death. We are also experiencing what it's like to be cut off socially and spiritually. But don't despair. A breath of fresh air is on the way. God's Word is living and active and can breathe life into us. Where the Word is, there is also the Spirit. Breathe on these slain, Ezekiel says, that they may live. You see, in Hebrew, spirit and breath are the same words, because where the Spirit is, there is also life. I will cause breath to enter you, and you shall live. I will put my Spirit within you, and you shall live.
You see, the breathing we lost during the fall
has been restored. Look at what God did with Adam. First He formed him, and then He breathed into him the breath of life.
So now the Lord says to us, take a breather.
Breathe in the resurrected life. Doesn't that fill the lungs with something good? Jesus breathed life back into Lazarus in our gospel lesson, and the breath that Jesus gives reaches even those in the grave. We have this breath of resurrected life because Jesus gave up his breath on the cross. He breathed his last. He had to die. He had to go without breathing for a time. But this would not be his last breath. He would fill the earth with new air when he came out of the tomb, breathing and talking and eating. The breath of life still comes to us, the breath of resurrected life. It comes to us in the divine service when we hear the absolution and are given new breath for a new day. When we take in the Word as it is preached and heard, it gives life to our dead souls. And with the breath of Christ in you today, God already sees you raised up with Christ in the heavenly places. This is our comfort and hope. I've seen a Christian brother or sister struggle to breathe.
It's hard to watch. It's difficult
to help. And the image can be carried in your mind for years.
God sees the same
thing when us, his children, struggle. Breathing is a big deal. And today God calls us to receive the breath of resurrected life that comes only from Jesus.
So take a breather, those who are weary.
Take a breather, those who are socially isolated. Take a breather, those who are anxious. Take a breather, those who need some rest. The Lord can come into the dryness of your body and spirit, and He can revitalize you beyond comprehension.
The breath of life in Jesus
extends beyond the grave. So breathe easy.